guys. So finally got back from our winter camping trip. Amazing. 4-mile hike in, 4-mile hike out. Stayed one night. So I'm going to go over some of the gear that I took, pros and cons, a little bit about everything. It did have less than an inch of snow whenever we first went out there. By the next morning it's pretty much gone. So we did have 2 creek crossings, 2 or 3. So it was really fun. Been there quite a few times. Alright, so I did, the bag I went with was a Tikon Sports, the 3400. I really like this bag. I like how it adjusts. I like pretty much the padding. It was the first trip I'd ever taken with it, so I'd never worn it except for around the house, kind of fitting it with all the gear. My base weight was right at 23, 24 pounds. And then I added all my food, my water, and stuff like that. So I'm going to start with the outside of it. You got a few pockets, one on each side. Then you also have on the bottom of it, right down here. Let me tilt this down a little bit. Nope, that's not gonna work. Anyways, maybe that'll work. But anyways, got spots for water bottles. I ended up using smart water bottles. And so I did go ahead and buy the Gear Doctor self-inflating pad, the 4-season. I think the rating is 4.2. I really want to try it again. I let it inflate, and I sealed it up. I let it inflate all day long. Right before I went to bed, closed the valve, and my butt was cold pretty much the whole entire night. I ended up having to take some clothing and put it on my butt. My butt to give it a little bit of a barrier. It didn't matter what I did. So I'd really like to try it one more time. It did get down to, I think it was like 16, 17. So it wasn't even close, in the negatives or anything like that. So I'd really like to try it again. Like I said, so I'm gonna try it one more time, and then that'll give me at least 2 good times in cold weather. Then I got my tarp right here to lay down underneath my tent. I got this is my part of my 3-layer parka by the military. Love this thing. So super warm. I keep my filter in here next to my body to keep it from freezing. And then on one of the outside pockets, can of camping fuel, 4-season, and then just turn it on. I did take a couple different flashlights just to have a couple options, and didn't know exactly how they were going to work out during the winter time. So in that pocket, I pretty much had camping fuel and also flashlights. Then we go to the other side, the other pocket. Have my toothbrush, shoelaces. You never know whenever you're going to actually need extra cordage or break a shoelace. So you don't want to be in 3 miles and then break a shoelace, and then what are you going to do then? But if you do have cordage, then there you go. So you open it up, unclip it right here, pull it up. Just have a pocket up here. There's a lot of reviews about this bag, so I won't go too much into it. So what I do with my clothes and stuff like that is I take old tent bags, steak tent bags, and I will reuse them for clothing. Like this one's got underwear, and whenever I sleep during the winter time, I use 100% wool gloves. And then they're actually glove liners. I mean, so if you had a pair of mittens or something like that that were waterproof, you could easily do that. But I do have these sealskin waterproof socks. They are like a neoprene on the outside, then they have a plastic inner liner, and then they also have a fleece liner. Now these things, I have also gloves in here as well. They are Hanes. They are amazing. Like the gloves, like if you're out hiking in them and stuff like that, and you go to take them off, I mean, you got to let your hands cool down before you can go put them back on, because there's no wind that gets to them. They're extremely warm. This time the only thing that got cold on me was my toes, which that's ongoing problem I have. I know I've been frostbit multiple times, and then I also at work I wear steel toes, so whenever it gets cold, you still gotta have your steel toes on, and there's only so thick of socks you can get. So alright, so we're done with that pocket. So we're going to go the inner pocket. Take some dude wipes. Normally I had these on the inside of my pocket to keep them dry, keep them from freezing. Had toilet paper and paper towels. A snack bag. Hand warmers did not work at all. It didn't matter what brand we had. We could not get our toes warm enough at all. I got an extra phone cord. I took some spare batteries. Here are the sealskin gloves. They do have some nipples in the back of it. It takes a little bit to break them in because they pretty much made them to where they're flat, so there's no curvature to them. So whenever you have them on, it kind of tries to bunch up like in your fingers, but after you wear them for a while, you'll actually get them broke in fairly well, and then they work amazing. I won't go on a winter trip without them. So the next thing, I had mechanics gloves just in case whenever we go to cut our firewood, and I didn't want to use those. Some leftover food that I took with me. And then here is my stove bag, or my fire bag I should say. So I did take a striker with me just in case, which I mean I had other ways. I took some wet fire with me because again, it snowed. I knew it was going to be important. I did have a little mini torch. One way that I know that this thing is going to work every single time is I've taken stuff and thrown it in the freezer for 2 hours and pulled it out, and if I can go like that and it comes on, I know that it's going to last during the winter time whenever I actually do really need it, especially whenever we go camping. So you can't do that with everything, but some of the stuff, you know, great to use. I did try the BRS little micro stove. I did an unboxing on it. This thing worked awesome. I will take it every single time now. It does not have, so you'll have to have a lighter because it does not have a self-igniter on it. I did take the BRS, which I did a review on this too as well. I did take that. That was really good. There is kind of not really a problem, but it's how I cook food. First aid kit. Here it is. So, yeah. So this is how I, like if I need to mix drinks and stuff like that, I take one of these with me. They collapse, and then you just go, nope. And stretch it back out. I mean, come on, you get it for free. It lasts a lot of times from collapsing it like that. So, plastic spoon. Like, this is my tin cup that I always use to boil water. But at night, I did boil a bunch of water, put it in an Nalgene bottle, threw it in the bottom of my sleeping bag because I knew that I was going to have cold toes that night. One of the biggest issues with this, they didn't really want to sit on there quite right. So you got to find its happy medium on this one. On that small one, it fit right there, and it was perfect. So this right here was awesome whenever I used my other stoves. My generator, or my compressor, air compressor kicked on. This is the stove, or the pan set I use. It's pretty cheap, real light. It gives me a couple different options on whenever I go to take my food. So, alright, so then, tent stakes. And then, smart socks. I'm back and forth on these. I got some socks from big box store, Walmart, Realtree, the merino wool. Now I love them. The smart wool or smart socks. I'm back and forth. When I think my feet should be warm, they're cold. Yeah, so Fiskars Hatchet. Like I said, we go out there, we have to create our own fire. They don't provide firewood or anything like that. Silky Saw, large tooth. This thing 100% paid for itself one time. It is a great saw. I highly recommend picking one up. Extra cordage. Outer shell for the Parka. That's my raincoat. Folds up a lot smaller than that. I got the one-person military tent. I love it. It's a 4-season. I forget every single time I take it out. Once you zip it up, like you can't see any daylight, you can't see any light. So if you're worried about somebody coming up on your campsite, you're not going to see them because they can't see your light. I I did get the Gear Doctor pillow. I really liked it. It was comfortable. The bad part about the self-inflating mat is the top of it is rounded, so anytime it just wanted to slide off. So all night long I kept having to pull it back. Polypropylene pants, a leave, and tent stakes for my tent. The baffle for the for my stove worked good. I only took 4 panels. I should have taken 5, but once the sun went down, we didn't have any more wind, so I couldn't really test it out anymore. And get my sleeping bag out of here. Stuck back. This one is, the comfort rating is -5. Survival rating is -5 or -15. I've had this for quite a few years. I love it. I love how it packs down pretty small. I love how it fits, especially for me. I love that the end of it can actually flip up, so if you're not that tall, you can actually flip it up, so then your body's not heating up the extra portion of your feet. I did have my morels on. Then also had they're non-waterproof, which are just a regular tennis shoe, morels. I did have a pair of cargo pants on that were fleece lined. They were awesome. I didn't even have to put my long underwear on or anything like that, my base layer. I just had those on. Hiking in and hiking out, I stayed warm, you know, so I just took my jackets, my top layers off. But yeah, then trying to think of anything else, but no, that's it. That's all I took. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe button. Until next time, see you guys later.